Just assess where you are right now. And we'll spend the next 45 minutes peeling away our layers, the physical body, the prana body, making our way beyond the mind into our hearts. And so our time together should be really soothing and nourishing, and please do anything that your body demands, either toning things down, though it'll be pretty mellow, or taking things up. So please honor your body, and we'll begin. So you know that I love starting on the back. Turn to your left, scooch onto your mat, and then let your body start to melt. And actually imagine you're like a candle melting, and let the body start to ooze as you relax onto the earth. And even once you've made it to the earth, see if you can continue to connect with that idea of melting. And just notice how the outer edges of the body can soften, and all of the tissues contained within can soften. And just take a few breaths here to feel where the breath connects to your body. And imagine the breath is offering an internal massage. And at first it might be less obvious or challenging to focus on the breath. And so just be patient, but let that be your focal point for class today. Feeling where the breath connects inside the body and beyond. Let's start with some really gentle circles of the feet. Imagine each of your heels is on a quarter, and you're just shifting the weight around the rim of that quarter. You don't want any strain in the feet. And notice if there's a part of the circling that the body feels extra tight. Maybe it's when the feet flex. Perhaps you notice something in the calves, or when the toes point, you might notice something in the shins or the ankles, or even beyond. If you find a place like that, relax a little bit more and move a little more slowly until the whole movement feels fluid, like nowhere is sticking. And maybe that means the movement is so tiny, and that's wonderful. And then pause, let the legs relax completely. Notice how the feet might naturally drop slightly out to the sides, and gently start to graze the arms along the floor like you're making a snow angel. And the arms don't have to come all the way overhead. Notice what the shoulders want, and stop wherever you feel tightness. And then flip the palms away and move twice as slow as you reach through the fingers and graze the pinky side of the arm along your floor. Let's do one more of those. Externally rotate the arms so the palms are face up, index finger grazes the floor. And then stop with the arms either at your Y or overhead, whatever feels right for you. And point the toes, reach out through the fingers, and just take a couple of breaths and imagine the breath is just filling the entire space of the body and even beyond the amount of space you take up. And then gently start to drag just one heel in and really push the heel down into the mat so you feel the muscles on the back of the leg working and the hip flexors can stay soft. And then release the sole of that foot down like a half bridge and drag the other leg in. Slowly glide the first foot out. I know for me it's a little bumpier of a ride pushing out. And then the left leg follows. And we'll just do that one more time with the left leg leading. So the left heel drags in and move as slowly as you need to be conscious of keeping the front of the body relaxed. We want to wake up the hamstrings and let the hip flexors soften. Drag the right leg in. And then lift the legs, let them come in towards the belly and give your shins a big hug. Just notice the sensation of the thighs squeezing in towards the belly. Make sure there's no tension in the hips when you do this. If there is, try just placing the hands on the shins and floating the legs a little further away so you have more space. And then it's up to you if you'd like to lift the body. You can do so on an exhale. And then inhale to float down. And if you don't want to lift the body, you can just exhale to squeeze the legs in. And then inhale to float them out. So whatever your choice is, take a few pulses, exhaling for the compression and inhaling to expand. And the next time you expand, let the legs float up, let the arms float up, and give them a really slow motion jiggle, or jiggle at whatever. Yeah, both of those looked good, Roseanne. So go at whatever pace your body is craving, or explore different frequencies of jiggle. And if you've been on your feet a lot today or this week, just notice the sensations in the legs, and if there's any sense of draining out of the legs, letting them be a little lighter. And then squeeze them in one more time. Let the body lift. And then release back down and roll onto the right side. Stack the hands. And then imagine your body's like a book, and the left knee and the left arm are the front cover of the book. Start to open the book and let that front cover pull you over the spine to the other side. And just take a few of these rolls, nice and easy. And then start to notice the breath. And it doesn't have to sink in a particular way, but just see if you can witness that inner space, that subtler layer as you move in this really subtle way. And then the next time you're on the right side, let the left leg and the left hand just melt beyond the right. So you're almost like dripping a little further forward. And then come back into the twist or the roll and do that the other side. So it's almost like you've become a very old book and the front cover is just starting to release forward, getting a little stretch through the back of the shoulder. And so you'll just roll to each side and let that top of the body release a little bit, as long as that feels okay on the shoulder. And the next time you're on your right, place the left hand in front of your face. Let the left leg slide down just a little bit and just start to push yourself up nice and easy. And notice how it feels to support your body with your arms. Extend your legs in front of you and bring equal weight into the sits bones, and bend the knees so there's no tension, and just start to rock from side to side and let the hands be really soft. If it feels good, the top hand can lift, or you can just let it be mellow. That's feeling really nice for me though. So nice to see your faces and your windmilling arms. And then let's pause at center, grab behind the legs, and start to kick the legs into the hands. And I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see this. It is okay for the spine to round a little bit, and play with kicking one leg off at an angle and then the other leg. And you can't do anything wrong here. Just start to explore what happens as you extend your legs in different, I almost feel like in different dimensions. Like, how many dimensions can you explore here? And if you want, at any time you can free one or both hands, and then just make sure you can breathe. And pause at center. Place the soles of the feet down. Let the knees lower to the right, and just take a nice gentle twist to the right. Make sure the knees feel comfortable. You can always tuck them in more, stagger them, whatever feels best. And then start to lengthen the left arm up and back, and just feel that whole left side lengthen. Breathe into that. And then let the left arm come down, roll over center to the other way. And you can pause and then just add in the right arm whenever that feels right to you. And then let's start to pulse between those two sides, and I kind of like inhaling into the twist, so I really emphasize lengthening and creating space, and then exhaling through center. But you can do whatever your body wants. Both are beneficial, so just notice how the breath impacts the body and enhances whatever shape you're in. And then let's meet at center, but you don't need to rush. Take one more falling through space core interdimensional exploration. Anju, I could tell you really love this. Place the heels down. Let them glide forward any amount, but don't assume the legs are going to straighten. And then just let the body melt for a moment and breathe some space in the back of the body. If you would like to rock a little bit, you can. And if you feel tightness in the low back or behind the legs, use the hands to just climb up the legs a little bit, and let this be really mellow. And then soles of the feet to the floor. Let the knees drop over to the left. Place the hands kind of like a tabletop, and then just crawl your legs underneath your body into tabletop with your head to the left. Walk the hands up to kneeling, and just take one moment to bend into the knees a couple of times. The body stays straight like a plank. And so this is really strengthening for the front of the body, especially the quadriceps. You can place your hands onto the hip sockets to make sure that area is staying flat, and just take a couple of pulses. And then if your toes are tucked under, flatten them. If your toes are flat, tuck them under, and just take a couple more and just notice how that changes. So you're just swapping your feet, and it does change the sensation a little bit. You don't want to feel anything in the low back here, so maybe smaller pulses are kinder. And this just helps us wake up our deep core and release any sense of pushing and doership. And the next time you float over the knees, release the hands down, tuck toes under if they're not already, and slowly start to lift the hips so that you're in a forward fold. Walk the hands to the feet, and then slowly walk the hands up the legs, and let the body start to unfold. Try to notice the breath in the back of the body. And then sweep the arms behind you. Imagine, actually, I don't know if that's actually like this. Don't imagine anything. Let the whole front of the body open. I was sort of thinking of like a mermaid at the front of a ship. They kind of look like this sometimes, but I don't know if that works. And if your body feels ready, you can play with coming on your toes here to lengthen the front of the body even more. And then set the heels down, sweep the arms forward, let the hips flex any amount, keep the weight in the heels, and start to pulse between those two shapes. You're welcome to inhale, expanding upward, and exhale to ground into your chair. And try to experience your body as a whole rather than a collection of parts. So on the inhale, just notice your body expanding in all directions in this shape. And the same thing at the opposite part of the breath. And the next time you're up on your tippy toes, pause there and slowly set your heels down and just feel your awareness arrive in your footprints. Let the shoulders relax. Take a breath into the heart. And then turn to face the screen. Center yourself on the mat and bend into one knee at a time, gently shifting the opposite foot out. And just start with a pretty small straddle. We'll take a couple of bear twists. So push into the left leg and let that generate a spiral all the way up to the left shoulder and then go the other way. And make sure the knees feel okay with this movement. You might need to turn the back foot a little bit more so there's no twisting in the knees. And let the shoulders really relax here. You can give yourself a pat on the back. And then gently come back to center and heel toe the feet out a little wider. Bend the knees and imagine I was like going to come and tackle you and you're really trying to stand your ground. So yeah, that was really effective. You guys look great. I won't be able to knock anyone over. And keep that mentality as you keep the hips low and you shift from side to side. And sometimes it feels like you get stronger as the feet go out. And then there's this moment where you get less strong. Left arm to the right, and then push into the right leg and go the other way. And then push into both feet so you meet in the middle. Let the toes turn out any amount, and we'll take a couple of goddess pulses. So arms to a T. As you push the arms down, let the hips float just an inch. Deep breath. Actually, that's a good exhale. And then we'll inhale, let the hips lower and reach the arms out. And so on your own, each exhale, you rise up just a little bit and see if you can notice a sense of strength from the arches of the feet all the way up the inner thighs, pelvic floor, deep core muscles. And you don't have to move very far here. It's pretty subtle. The next time you're down, turn the toes to the left. Let the right heel come out just a little bit. Pause in Virabhadrasana 2. One nice easy breath here. And then release the left hand to the thigh. Draw a big rainbow with the right arm. And then imagine the edge of the tube with the arm. So let the arm start to arc and notice how the heart follows. You don't want too much movement in the shoulder. It's like the arm is guiding where the heart is pointed. And the next time you're up, pause, push into the left leg, slowly rising up. Let the left side of the body expand. And then turn all 10 toes to center, bend the knees, and just drip forward. You don't have to go very far here. Take a breath into the back of the body. Into the heels, slowly rise up, scoop the air up, lengthening the front of the body, and we'll repeat that on the second side. So toes out, heels in, drop the arms, and just take a couple of pulses. And the next time you're down in the goddess pose, turn the toes to the right for Virabhadrasana 2, and just take one breath. Let everything relax, and use the breath to help you relax. And then right hand to thigh, arc through the left side of the body, and then start to just trace that nice curve. And imagine the arm is like a rudder, and it's steering the ship of the body. So the whole body follows whatever the arm is doing. The next time you're up, pause there. Push into the right foot, let it fill and expand until the whole right side of the body lengthens, and let that right arm reach up. And then melt the arm down and heel toe the feet in a little bit so you're back in that short straddle that we started in. And we'll start to shift the weight from side to side. Keep the weight in the heels, and I'm turning just so you can see me. Let the sits bones get heavy. We're making our way through Malasana, and that's not for everyone. So if this isn't comfortable for your knees, find your way to a comfortable seat in a better way for you. But if it does feel good, keep shifting. And this is my favorite way to do Malasana because it means you're never going to put pressure on your hip socket. All those muscles stay engaged as you shift. And then slowly find center, set the hips down. Soles of feet together, and just a baby butterfly where you're not just relaxing completely, you're keeping some control, but you're letting the hips open. Breathe. And then take the hands and draw the legs together. Hover the feet and just give yourself a big hug. If you feel balanced here, you can play with closing the eyes and curling the head forward, and just notice a sense of being suspended in space, beyond body, beyond gravity. And then keep whatever feelings of being beyond your body as you start to find your most comfortable meditation seat. And now Satyam and I will swap, and he will guide you through a little bit of philosophy and meditation.
Hey, so here's the question. If a whale can migrate for 40 days from Alaska to Hawaii without a map or a phone, why can't I make it to my friend's house here in Hawaii when my GPS doesn't work? I don't understand it. You've all been in that situation where you realize that you've counted on this external tool to guide you so many times, and then as soon as that tool isn't there, you don't even know where to start. You don't know what road they live on. You don't know what turn to make. And in a way, the sutras and the yogic tradition reminds us that at every step of the way in our practice, we have to be checking in with this inner quality of surrender that must accompany our work. That it's not enough just to show up or to repeat a mantra or to just move your breath. That there's another quality there that must be present. For example, this quote from right down here, from the Jnana Garbha Stotra It says, when in ordinary daily life one repels the actions of the mind and shatters dependence on the senses, and then it goes on to say, then that's when you realize your sort of inner navigation system. That's when you connect to that place you're trying to find. And so let's try it now for a moment. Shatter dependence on your mind and your senses for just a moment. You're in your seat. You don't need anything right now. You're not looking for anything. You're not wanting anything. Complete presence, uninterrupted. And then do it again. Completely present. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to repeat a mantra or do anything with your breath. You just have to be completely present. See the room that you're in. Feel the body that you're in. There is an intuitive quality to our work that cannot be taught, cannot be given to you, because it's already in you. Just like you can't teach a whale how to make that journey. They just do it. In the tradition, this is called the thoughtless process. And it's via this thoughtless process, meaning this intuitive quality, that we really take our practice beyond the limits of our mind and what we think we're capable of. So from the seat that you're in, let yourself move a little bit. Let yourself just sort of feel your spine. Feel the space that surrounds your body immediately. And then allow yourself to very slowly move a little bit less and move a little bit less until you find your center. A point of balance. How did you find your center? How did you know where center was? How do you know? This center point is where we're going with our practice. Allow your eyes to close. Allow your mouth to shut. Swallow. Feel the tongue slightly lifting and suctioning towards the top back of the mouth. The spine lifts, the shoulders relax. The center point of us energetically is our heart. It's a point that it's the seat of the higher mind. It's the seat of intuition. Allow your attention to naturally and intuitively sink towards your heart. Just like being present, we can bring our awareness to the heart for a moment, and then it seems to slowly drift. And that's why you have each and every breath to help draw that focal point back. You know where your heart is. No one can actually point you there. I can't tell you exactly how. It is a thoughtless process, but it is a focal point, a place you can focus on. Notice the shell of the body. Feel if there's a grip or a hardness to the shell. Allow the breath to soften that shell. You know how to relax your body. You know what it feels like. It's just a matter of doing it. It may not happen all at once, but that doesn't mean you don't keep doing it. How can you relax your breathing? Feel the breath that you're taking, and just notice the quality of your experience. Intuitively, you know how to release and surrender within your breath a little bit more. Can you move the breath less? allow your awareness to sink towards the heart. We hold our awareness in the head, much like we grip our breath or body. We know how to ungrip our hands, and it's not that different to ungrip your head, your thoughts. For fun, you can grip one hand into a fist, then slowly release that fist. And then try to do the same thing in your mind. And to find the heart, it can sometimes be beneficial to practice the slight smile. It's so slight, you can't see it, but you can feel it. You can imagine being a whale on this long journey, and that slight smile helping to activate your inner positioning system. Feel your breath just like the slow movement of a whale's tail, guiding you towards this destination illuminated by your slight smile. Let everything go and let yourself swim towards the heart effortlessly and without any attachments. Take a moment to visualize yourself swimming through your evening, swimming through your weekend, with this inner positioning system illuminated. There's nowhere you can't go. According to the teachings, following this light takes you to the most magical destinations, and ultimately takes you to the vantage point of growth. In every situation. And so allow the eyes to open, but keep your gaze low for a moment. And again, just remember that this navigation is still on, and all you have to do perhaps is breathe into it with a slight smile and a little inward focus, and you'll arrive. So namaste everyone. Thanks for another fun class.
Have a great weekend. So wonderful to start it with each of you. Thanks for coming.